Well, hi there, everybody. You're traveling with Jack, and as always, my heavenly wife, Pam. We're doing one of our grief journey videos today, and what I want to talk about is something that, well, let me first of all ask you, did you ever see the movie A League of Their Own? It was a Tom Hanks movie from several years ago. A really good movie. Pam and I really liked it a lot. It was about the girls' baseball league that they formed during World War II when all the men went off to fight in the war. And the women were left behind, and they ran the factories, they ran the households, and they played baseball. But there's a famous line in that movie, excuse me, where one of the young ladies on the team starts to cry. And you may recall the line. Tom Hanks says, "There's no crying in baseball." And I thought, yeah, I guess not. Can't be crying in baseball. But boy, on our grief journey, the tears do flow, don't they? Or do they? You know, for many of you who tune in to hear our little talks here, the vast majority are going to be women. I'm finding out in my grief journey, for someone my age, I'm kind of an anomaly. The vast majority are women who've lost husbands, but there's a few guys out there that have lost wives as well. But the thing I'm learning too is the value in those tears. There is crying in the grief journey. Sadly, though, some people try and fight it. I talked to a gentleman the other day who was a little younger than me. He was in his late 40s. And he'd lost his wife 3 or 4 years ago. And I said, do you ever have those moments when you just think about her and you just start to cry? And he goes, oh no, I don't do that. He goes, I was raised by strong Norwegian parents and we don't cry. And I didn't really get into a big long discussion with him about that. But I did feel a little sad because I thought that must be incredibly difficult to keep that in. I mean, he loved his wife, I know that. He cared for her deeply. He has to be like all of us and be sad and want to cry. But it's been programmed in him that men don't cry. Well, I'm here to say, whether you're a man or a woman watching this, we do cry. And I'm going to tell you, boy, in the first couple of months when Pam left this earth, oh my gosh, I thought I was never going to stop crying. I would stop long enough to go to work, but even at work, I'd have to go to the men's room and just stand there and cry. I didn't really understand why, other than that I just missed her. But I also found that after I cried, I began to feel a little better. It's been almost 10 months now since Pam went to heaven. I don't cry as much, but I still have my moments. Just a few minutes ago, I'd prepared dinner. I made salmon. As you've seen, I have cooking videos in here too. I enjoy cooking. Made a really nice dinner. And I sat down and I started thinking about Pam. And I said, oh, sweetheart, I wish you were here to enjoy this meal with me. And I cried for maybe 15, 20 seconds, and then it was gone. And I ate my meal, and I think I had Flip or Flop on HGTV. I don't know if you guys watched that. And I was flipping between that and a golf tournament that was pre-recorded. The point being, if you feel like crying, don't hold it in. You need to let it go. Now, I'm no scientist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a guy on this grief journey, just like you gals and guys are. But I do know that if I cry, after a little bit, I feel better. And there's been all kinds of studies done on this, how there's some type of chemical release or something, that things that I don't even understand, that apparently can help us heal. They call them healing tears. And then some people will ask, well, how long are we going to have this with us? Again, I'd be selling $1 million and 1 million videos if I could tell you. I don't know. I do know it gets better. And I do know that I don't cry as long or as hard. But the point being today is that if you feel the need to cry, please, by all means, do it. Release it. Let it out. You will feel better. Tom Hanks may be right about there's no crying in baseball. But in our grief journey, there is crying. We miss our husband or wives. We miss them deeply. And you know what's good about that? I'm going to tell you something good that I discovered today. The harder that you cry, the more you loved them. I really believe that too. Or maybe you're like the guy I met, and it's just not in your family DNA. I do think he loved his wife deeply, but they just weren't supposed to cry. That's it. So if you feel like crying, you do it. You let it out. Now look, don't let it consume you though. I don't let it consume me. We can't do that, okay? Remember our saying? You can have all the pity parties you want, but who wants to come to a pity party, okay? We're allowed to have our quiet little pity parties at home or wherever, in the car or in the garage or wherever, and have your little cry, and let's get it out. And then I guarantee you're going to feel a little bit better. I talked to one woman who said she started out, she'd go in a closet of all things. You know, you've heard about a prayer closet? She'd go in the closet, she said, I'd cry for 30 minutes. Then the next day, it might only be 25 minutes. The next day, 20 minutes. 15, so on and so forth, to where it got down to just a little short burst of crying. That's kind of where I'm at. I have short cry spells. And when they're over, I feel better. I don't know if this helped you any. I hope it did. It helps me just talking to you guys and girls. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you know, I still have people who tell me, oh, it seems like you're doing great. Been 10 months. And I go, I'm doing okay. It's like a roller coaster. Some days I'm going up, 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 up. And the view is great at the top. And then we come crashing down. Mind you, not a lot of days of crashing like it used to be. So if you're new on this grief journey, it may seem hard to believe it does get better. Will you ever stop missing your husband or wife? No. You'll always feel that emptiness, but you're going to find ways to fill it. And again, it's okay to cry, okay? Although that movie is a good one. And it's funny now, if I watch that movie, I'll cry like a baby at the ending scene. I'm not going to give it away. Maybe you haven't seen the movie. It's a good one. Thanks again, everyone. I do appreciate your support. If there are others out there you think might benefit from our little talks, I hope you'll let them know that I do appreciate it, and that maybe they'll subscribe to our channel. Traveling with Jack and Pam. I've also got other fun stuff on here for you guys to look at. Hiking, cooking, just things to kind of keep the mind occupied, okay? I love all you guys, even though I don't know you personally. We do share a common bond. Thanks again. Bye now.